Hey there guys, and welcome back. As always, it's great to have you guys join me here. So we're going to be talking about Superman and James Gunn. It looks like James Gunn has come out and he said, he's made comments regarding how much money this movie needs to make in regards to being successful. And he's also put some kind of rumors to bed about, fans making suggestions that this movie has to make ridiculous amounts of money. And James Gunn just said that just isn't true. This movie doesn't need to make ridiculous amounts in order for it to be successful. So let's jump into this article. Let's break down some of James Gunn's comments and see exactly what he's been saying about this film. So this comes to us from Comic Book Movie. James Gunn maintains that Superman doesn't need to be a huge box office hit to succeed. Yeah, they know based on the track record of what's happened with DC over the past, sort of 4, 5, 6 years. The movies have just fell flat on their face, they haven't made any money, and this movie here doesn't need to make money, it just needs to be good with the critics and with the audiences. And as more DCU movies come out in subsequent years, people will get more on board with DC, they'll see that the quality is good, and the box office will begin to creep up and get better with each film. And that's what they're looking for. They know that this movie isn't going to make a lot right out the gate, because of that bad track record that DC has at the moment. A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth. I mean, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, a lot of these movies just really just fell flat on their face. So anyway, we've heard repeatedly that the DCU's future hinges on Superman's success. Lanterns and Supergirl are far enough into production that we'll be getting them whatever happens. But if Superman bombs, will Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav pull the plug on DC Studios' experiment? No, they won't pull the plug just on this one film. If Superman comes out and it falls flat on its face and bombs, they're not going to pull the plug on this entire new cinematic universe from one movie. Although it would be pretty catastrophic in the eyes of the fan base to try and get them on board for Supergirl if Superman fell so badly. But I don't think they'd pull the plug on the entire thing from one movie failing. But man, the commentary that would come out on social media if Superman is bad and it flops. Woohoo! Man, I can't wait for those videos. That's going to be interesting for sure. So, some would have you believe but Superman director and DC Studio co-CEO, James Gunn maintains that that's not the case. So, talking to GQ, the filmmaker maintained that the reboot is not the riskiest endeavor in the world. So, it's not as bad and it's not as, as important as what people are making it out to be. Even though there's a lot riding on it, apparently fans have hyped it up to mean more and kind of exaggerated the importance of it more than what it is. That's kind of what he's trying to say. So, James Gunn added, is there something riding on it? Yeah, but it's not as big as people make it out to be. They hear these numbers that the movie's only going to be successful if it makes 700 million or something, and it's just complete and utter nonsense. It doesn't need to be as big of a situation as people are saying. So there we go, straight from the horse's mouth himself. A lot of people are saying, oh, if this movie doesn't make $1 billion, it's going to be a failure, it's going to bomb. It needs to make, ridiculous amounts, 7, 8, 900 million. If it doesn't, then it's just a failure. But that's just not the case. And James Gunn here, literally in this comment, people say it's only going to be successful if it makes 700 million or something, and that's just complete and utter nonsense. So if you hear anybody saying that in the comment section on social media, oh, if this film doesn't make, 700 million or more, then it's going to be a failure. It's just not the case. Absolutely not the case. Okay, it's been widely reported that Superman cost upwards of 330 million, which is, I'm sorry, but this really gets on my nerves. The fact that they spend that amount of money on a film, especially when it's the first one out the gate, you should have a lower budget for the first movie. I know it's Superman and there's a lot of CGI, and I guess keeping the production budget low is going to be a struggle. I kind of get that. But 330 million, it's just insane, man. It's ridiculous amounts, and they shouldn't be spending that on a movie. It's just crazy. It costs that to produce and market. However, after what proved to be a disastrous 2023 for the DCEU, Zaslav may be content with a 400 million to 500 million blockbuster that receives positive reviews and restores faith in the tarnished brand. That's exactly, like I already said, that's what it's all about. It's not about the box office so much, it's about restoring people's faith in the brand. It's about bringing people back to DC, people getting excited about DC and wanting to see more, and eventually building up that box office in years to come. After all, Superman will eventually be a big draw on HBO Max, and we'd imagine Supergirl cost quite a bit less. Yeah, don't forget about the secondary market as well. When Superman's done its final box office run, if it ends at, 500 million, let's say, It's got the secondary market of being on HBO Max, driving up the subscribers, making a lot of money from licensing fees if it goes onto other streaming services as well. Plus we've got the DVDs, the Blu-rays that are going to be sold from it, all the merchandising, the toys, the t-shirts, the clothing. So there's all that stuff to make money from it as well. Okay, Clayface is also going to be a lower budgeted project, so if it's all about reviving a superhero universe that's running on fumes, then Gunn is likely right there that there's more to play than Superman needing a 700 million hit. I mean, don't get me wrong, to hit 700 million, they'd be popping bottles of champagne and they'd be over the moon happy, but they know that it's probably not going to do that. It's very, very unlikely it's going to get to that kind of number. So, the Man of Tomorrow's biggest challenge is likely to be a superhero fatigue, a problem even Marvel Studios has struggled with over the past few years. I mean, look at some of their recent projects. I mean, we've had Agatha all along, we've had, Ironheart that's just come out, we've had Echo, Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts has, finished its theatrical run, and that's made like, what, 300 and something million? So, yeah, I mean, people are just getting bored of these cookie-cutter Marvel films, and they're not doing as well as they used to. Thunderbolts received rave reviews but flopped, so can Superman overcome the apparent lack of interest in the genre from moviegoers? The thing is, Superman's like the granddaddy of all superheroes. Like, he's instantly recognizable to everyone, everywhere around the world. Whereas, like, Thunderbolts, a lot of people don't even know these characters. They don't know who any of those characters are. But Superman, you put Superman on a billboard, a banner, a t-shirt, he's instantly recognizable. Everybody knows who Superman is, but not everybody knows who Thunderbolts are. So I think that's the slight difference between those two properties there. Okay, so James Gunn said, I think there is such a thing as superhero fatigue. I completely agree with him. I've been saying that for ages. There absolutely is superhero fatigue. He acknowledged that in 2023. He said, I think it doesn't have anything to do with superheroes. It has to do with the kind of stories that get told. And if you lose your eye on the ball, which is character. We love Superman, we love Batman, we love Iron Man, because they are incredible characters that we have in our hearts, and if it becomes just a bunch of nonsense on screen, it gets really boring. Yeah, I think that's what Marvel fell into in recent years. They thought, you know what, if we just put a character on screen and then give them a bunch of sloppy storytelling, then people will just be happy with it, people will pay for it, and they'll come and see it regardless, they won't care. As long as we put their characters on screen, that's just going to make loads of money. We don't need to worry about any decent storytelling. But they've come to realize in recent years that's not the case. You can't just put a popular character on screen and then have shit writing and expect people not to complain and get fed up with these type of projects that they're putting out. And Marvel have basically ran their own kind of company into the ground at this point. Whether the Avengers movies are going to make any money, that's to be seen. But that's a video for another day, I guess. Okay, so box office tracking for Superman has ranged from 90 million opening weekend to 200 million. So there's, from 90 to 200, there's a lot of leeway in between those two numbers. And we're likely still a few days away from having a clearer idea on how things will go for the reboot. As of now, though, most seem to believe that it will be somewhere around the 100 million to 120 million mark. Superman arrives in theaters on July 11th, 2025. So literally 4 days from now, I'm going to be watching Superman. I could not be more excited. It's like Christmas come early. Let's go. Superman, the granddaddy of all superheroes returns. What's more exciting than that? But guys, you see this. You see James Gunn here saying, defending this movie in some ways and saying, no, it's absolutely incorrect. This movie doesn't need to make a lot of money. We're just there to, to bring the faith, restore quality and faith back to the franchise. That's what this movie is trying to do. It's not trying to make a lot of money. If it does, then that's an added bonus. But that's not what this movie's objective is. The objective is to restore the quality, restore people's trust in DC, to bring them back to the franchise. That's what this movie is about. And yeah, straight from the horse's mouth. So there we go, guys. What do you think about James Gunn's comments here? Do you think this movie is going to make a lot of money? Ultimately, how much do you think at the box office this movie will end on? I would love to hear what you guys think. Just as a guess, put it down in the comment section. Do you think it will make 400, 500? Do you think it will make $1 billion? Whatever your guess is, like I say, leave it in the comment section, and I'd be very, very interested to see what you guys have to say about that. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel to help support the content. I would really, really appreciate that. And hit that notification bell to stay up to date with more Superman and movie news going on the channel. And with that down, as always, I will see you in the next video.